Hello everyone, I'm discussing the Delphi case, and today I really want to discuss one specific thing. The night the girls, Abby and Libby, went missing on February 13th, 2017, there is video from news crews interviewing Mike Patty, and Mike Patty says the girl's cell phone was pinging all over town. Immediately, conspiracy theorists, other people, online sleuths jumped to the conclusion that this must have meant that the girl's cell phone was just being taken somewhere from the crime scene, if not the girls themselves, and the internet just went wild with that information. But again, I'm here to show you that information is only as good as the people who are using that information to investigate, whether you're a detective, whether you're an online sleuth. And we've learned that the hard way in this case after 6+ years, okay? That there was information early on that led potentially to Richard Allen that was either overlooked, misplaced, misfiled, ignored, who knows? Now, we know that Mike Patty made that statement, okay? But in reality, the reason he made that statement is very likely because when you triangulate a cell phone, okay, or when you try to locate the specific location of a cell phone, it's not a perfect science. Well, how do I know that? Well, a simple Google search from any sort of FCC, law enforcement, etc., right here from the FCC's own site, it says, how precise is cellular triangulation? By using cell tower triangulation, it is possible to determine a phone location to within an area of about 3/4 of a square mile. 3/4 of a square mile is a pretty big area. That's a radius of roughly 3,900, maybe 4,000 feet, okay? So it's not an exact pinpoint science. And how do I know that? Well, even in the FBI's own text of the Ron Logan affidavit, there's inconsistencies. Right here, 22. A call placed using Logan's cell phone produced cell tower data. This shows Logan's cell phone appears to be in or around his property on February 13th, 2017 at 2:09 p.m. And here's the key part. Although his exact location cannot be confirmed. Then you go to 23, and I find this interesting. An analysis of Logan's cell phone data revealed a text message sent from his phone at 7:56 p.m. on February 13, 2017. The initial exam of the analysis indicates Logan's phone was likely outside of his residence and in the proximity of where Liberty German and Abigail Williams' bodies were located. And then 24, an analysis of Logan's cell phone data revealed the text messages received by his phone at 10:16 p.m. on February 13, 2017. The initial exam of this analysis indicates Logan's phone was likely outside of his residence and in the proximity of where Liberty German and Abigail Williams' bodies were located. Here's the thing. In one spot here, they say, well, his exact location cannot be confirmed from the cell tower data. And then right after that, they go against their very own logic in the FBI affidavit, and any defense lawyer would have had a field day with this if Ron Logan had ever been brought to trial. Because they're contradicting their own analysis right there, back to back, of how this information is used. Now, I also know, based on studying this affidavit, that the FBI says in this affidavit that Ron Logan's home was about 1,400 feet. 1,400 feet. Logan's home is right here. This is where the body's found. 1,400 feet from where the girls were found. Now, if we know, based on the FCC's information, that triangulation data is only accurate within 3/4 of a mile or 3,900 feet, even if he's just sitting in his home that night doing nothing, that's going to put him within that 3,900 foot radius, just because he lives there, not because he's necessarily guilty of a crime. The other thing that's interesting is a lot of people say, well, why doesn't the family debunk this, that, and the other thing? Well, here's an Inside Edition interview published July 11th, 2019 with Kelsey German, where she tries to take on some of the rumors that are out there. She says, and I quote, "That whole week after the murders was a complete blur, so asking us to remember everything completely correct is so... I don't even think it's possible," German said. "I don't think anybody can remember something specific after something tragic like that happens." "Absolutely no one refused a lie detector test," German said. "That is a very big misconception. We've been very open and gave the police everything that we know." It's just really, really crazy. And here we go. After authorities said Libby's phone pinged off 2 towers the day she disappeared, armchair detectives theorized it must have been because the device was moving around town, but German said that was not the case. She noted that any whispers of her family taking donations, and it goes on in that. She explains the cell phone ping, and she says, Libby's phone did ping on 2 towers, but that was because the town is so small. If you move to one side of the house, your phone will switch towers sometimes, German explained. And again, what cell phone tower triangulation attempts to do, it'll use the pings from a phone when there are pings, and it will triangulate within a reasonable distance, again, approximately 3,900 feet or less, to find what was there or who was there. Now everybody says, well, why don't you just take all the information from all the people who were out there that day? Just get massive amounts of data. That can be really tricky because some courts will not give you a search warrant for that. And as you can see here, we've got Highway 25 going right by here, and there are thousands of cars going by here. So even if you get metadata or mass data from all the cars that were in that general area from cell phone triangulation, you're going to have a massive, massive amount of data to go through. And that's even if a judge gives you a warrant for that. And that is sometimes highly unlikely, specifically because a judge is not going to give you a warrant for that all the time, based on the same premise to where if a crime occurred a half mile from your house, they're not just going to go and serve a warrant on everybody's house within a half mile of that crime. That's against the law and it's against your rights. So I hope this information is helpful in understanding why the cell phone triangulation data and the pinging all over town and the wild conspiracy theories people have are just sometimes nonsense. Furthermore, and I may need another video for this, but there's a unclassified document that the FBI uses that shows how long they keep information from cell phones. We know that Liberty German's cell phone was an AT&T cell phone. Right here it says that the subscriber keeps, as of March 2019, cell phone tracking data information for up to 7 years. Could that be what they were looking for in the Wabash River? Did Richard Allen or somebody maybe realize that, and then once they found out that somebody was on their trail 5 or 6 years later, ditched the phone? We will find out, won't we? Have a great day, everybody.